Hi, my name is Allie, and I'm here with Coordinator Alex and Drawer Sarah, and today we are here to talk about how factories affect air pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution is the accumulation of hazardous substances in the atmosphere that endanger human life and other living matter. Some main contributors of pollution are things such as combustion of coal, power plants, and manufacturing buildings like factories. You may be asking yourself, what type of chemicals are harming us? The major toxic chemicals that factories produce are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and ozone, not to be confused with the ozone layer. What are all these chemicals and why might they matter? Carbon dioxide is the most produced greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide is released when engines and factories burn fossil fuels. It is bad for us because when it enters our body, it makes it hard for our body to get the oxygen it needs. This can cause dizziness and headaches and sometimes fatal incidences. Nitrogen dioxide is another toxic chemical. It is produced from power plants and cars. This affects our respiratory system and causes more people to get asthma. In addition, when it enters the atmosphere, it also causes acid rain. Ozone is another big contributor to the effects humans are now facing with air pollution. Although ozone is good for the upper atmosphere, as it keeps ultraviolet rays from the sun from harming us, it is not so good in the lower atmosphere as it makes oxygen less accessible. It comes from factories polluting the air, but since it is so dense, it stays on the ground, which then causes smog. Another chemical is sulfur dioxide. It is given off from the incomplete burning or heating of metals. The highest levels of sulfur dioxide occur during smog, which can have serious health effects. Sulfur dioxide exposure can affect people who have asthma by making it more difficult for them to breathe. It can also harm trees, crops, and damage buildings. Recent studies have been conducted on the effects of China's emissions in the U.S. According to the Los Angeles Times, Los Angeles and parts of the eastern U.S. experienced at least one extra day of smog that exceeded federal health standards for ozone in 2006. The Los Angeles Times also stated that since the 1990s, scientists have known that pollution from China is carried across the Pacific by westerly winds and that it worsens air quality along the U.S. West Coast. Those emissions contribute only slightly to U.S. smog levels, which are overwhelmingly caused by local emissions from factories, vehicles, and power plants. From the Washington Post, a study has proven that a decrease in manufacturing in the United States in recent years has led to the cleaner air in the eastern regions, but pollutants wafting in from China have harmed the West. This saying that even though the U.S. has reduced its burning of fossil fuels to help the East breathe, China has not attempted to use cleaner energy, and therefore we are getting sick from their mess. The government has put in place the Clean Air Act of 1970. It regulates air emissions from stationary and mobile sources. They have established the National Ambient Air Quality Standards to protect public health and public welfare and to regulate emissions of hazardous air pollutants. One of the goals was to have the regulation in place in all 50 states by 1975. Since the passing of the Clean Air Act from 1980 through 2010, the level of lead polluting the air in the United States has dropped by 89%. In addition, ground level ozone has dropped by 11% throughout the United States from 2000 to 2010. There is an overall reduction of 28% in ground level ozone since 1980. Yeah!